Baik, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So kita mulakan berkaitan dengan topik seterusnya, iaitu berkaitan dengan water reticulation. Okay. So water reticulation ni adalah berkaitan dengan penggunaan air di dalam sesebuah struktur bangunan. So kalau yang in the old days, we use a lot of water sources from streams, from wells, from rainwater. Those are the major sources lah, lakes and such. But these days we don't use them directly. As a matter of fact, that we we provide with pipe systems and whatnot, so that the water supply can be sent to the said structure, okay, to be utilized. So for the water reticulation, the purpose, we use a lot of we use water for a lot of purpose. Okay, for sanitary, for cleaning, for drinking, for cooking and such. And by having the water very close, very accessible, we save a lot of time and energy in using the water. Okay, so by definition, the character of being reticulated or net-like, that which is reticulated, so that's where the word comes from. A network or an arrangement of veins, etc. So we have to provide a network of pipelines so that the water can be sent to where it is needed. So the word also means a network of crisscrossing lines, strands, cables, or pipes. So for water reticulation, okay, the water, okay, start at water authority main supply to the reservoir or water tank, to homes, factory, school, shopping complex, and such. So the water comes from the source. For Malaysia, we use a lot of our water source from the streams. Okay, so that's why it's very crucial to keep our streams clean and free from garbage, chemicals, and whatnot. Because if the stream is being used as our primary water source, okay, if it is contaminated, then we will have issues, okay, in terms of water supply for a couple of days, couple of weeks, things like that lah. So the water from the source transfers to the treatment plant that is being operated by the water authorities, being filtered, so that all the debris, all the chemicals are being separated from the water, as well as introducing beneficial, so-called beneficial chemicals and such for the water consumption of the public. So other than that, the water is also used for commercial purposes, for the factories that needs water for them to operate, as well as for fire hydrant. All right. So in terms of the main pipes, you can see that usually the part that is above ground And the part that's above ground usually are the meter, the valves, things like that. Or when like the water pipe is crossing a body of water such as a river. So we have what's known as the bulk meter. So the bulk meter usually being installed where the water is being sent to customers that use processed water, okay, in large quantities. So here we provide the bulk meter, and then the gate valve, full wave valve, which is inserted in pipeline for controlling or stopping flow of water. So this gate valve is the main valve that is being put there to facilitate maintenance purposes. So if we want to clean up the pipes, change components and whatnot, so we can close the gate valve and do maintenance to the pipes downstream. Okay, or if there are any damages, major damages to the pipes downstream, we can use the gate valve to shut down the pipes. And then we have other smaller valves such as the sluice valve, again being used to control the flow of water. Okay, and then the skull valve, and then we have air valve. So in these pipes, it's not just like water flows in the pipes, but sometimes air bubbles might also flow together with the water in this pipe. So these air bubbles needs to be ejected from the pipes, okay, because we do not want any issues in terms of brake pressure and things like that. So this air valve facilitates, okay, for controlling and exhausting air from inside the water pipes. So if there are any air inside the pipes, once they will gather at this air valve, and once the quantity is like enough, and then it will be ejected through the air valve through pressure. Okay. And then we have hydrant. This is for firefighting. Discharge pipe with a valve and spout at which water may be drawn from a water main. Okay, in terms of the materials that being used for the pipes, there are many. Some of the pipes are like old materials, not being used today, and some of them they are used. Depends on the location. So we have like the old types of ductile iron pipes. So these are pure iron pipes. You can identify these pipes usually being coated with bituminous paint. So the pipes are usually black in color, at least at the outside surface. Usually the ductile iron pipes are being used as the main pipes. So it has a large diameter. Not very popular these days because of the issue of corrosion. So these ductile iron pipes are being replaced by steel pipes. Okay, so the steel pipe is a lot more durable compared to these ductile iron pipes because it does not corrode, and it has a very high strength, just like the iron pipes. And then we have asbestos cement pipes. Back in the old days, not being used anymore because asbestos is a very dangerous chemical that can affect people's health. So it's being changed to RC pipes. So the RC pipe is just made out of concrete, very large diameter, used for main pipes. And for pipes inside buildings and such, we use UPVC pipes. These UPVC pipes are usually gray in color. Being they are usually like small diameter pipes being used for uh, installing for the piping requirement inside a building. So we don't usually use them for outside purposes. This is because it's made out of PVC, polyvinyl chloride. It's not that strong compared to the previous pipes. However, it does last long. It would last quite long. And also, it doesn't bend as much as the next type of pipe, which is the HDPE, high density polyethylene pipes. So these pipes can bend, okay? So it will reduce the needs for, elbow, reduce the need for installing this type of sockets, thus reduce the risk of pipe leakage. So these HDPE pipes, even though it's like not as large as the RC or steel pipes, they are being used also for distribution purposes. Not the main pipes, but the distribution pipes that connects all of the building, okay, to the main pipes. You can identify this HDPE pipe because it's basically a like a plastic pipe that is black in color, and we can bend them much better than UPVC pipes. It won't break, right? So usually the inlet pipes from outside that supplies water into each building or each house, they are HDPE pipes. Can also be used for internal piping of the structure. All right. Next is location of pipe. So the location, where do we put the pipes? Either on the ground or in trenches. And sometimes also being attached to structures such as bridges. Okay. Usually when the pipes is like going through land, we would put it underground. Okay, we are talking about these main pipes. And then when the pipe needs to cross a barrier such as a river or some other man-made obstacles, these pipes will go above ground. Okay, so when they go above ground, usually the materials that they use for the pipes are a lot stronger. So that's why you don't see pipes above ground all the time, because it will cost more. Usually they are underground, but when there are obstacles, they would divert or they would cross above or below. We're talking above, okay, above the obstacle, okay, with steel pipes usually. So if the pipe is being put into the ground, then the corrosive nature of soil and groundwater needs to be considered lah. So we need to use pipes that do well in acidic type of soil, or the soil has a lot of groundwater. Right? Okay, so life cycle cost, initial capital cost plus maintenance cost. So the cost, I mean the pipes, the main pipes, the distribution pipes, it has what you call life cycle. Usually when the pipe reaches like 30 years or 40 years, it needs to be replaced. That is when the old pipe starts to have a lot of leakage, and we have like a lot of NRWs, non-revenue water. I mean, these are water from leakages and stuff that the water authority cannot get any money from. So it's time to change the pipes, main pipes and distribution pipes. Usually it's being done in stages, and the cost is very, very high. Okay, so that's why it's important for them to use pipes that last as long as possible. And then size and diameter of the pipe depends on the amount of water to be supplied. I mean, if it's related to the main pipes, of course, it will usually be a very large diameter pipes. And if you're talking about distribution, it will be a lot smaller. Okay, duration. So I guess the duration, I mean the lifetime of the pipe lah. So usually 30 to 40 years. And the soil condition, if it's really bad, it will deteriorate the duration of the pipes a lot more, right? And then characteristic of the pipe in terms of weight, in terms of its strength, all of those needs to be considered too. Okay, so these are the pipes you can see here. Ductile iron pipes, it's black in color. The white stuff in the pipe is just the lining. Okay, it's not the steel. So high quality steel molds fitting are cast by pouring metal into steel or sand mold. This is the production process. Small quantities of magnesium to increase the strength, and it has a low maintenance cost. These days, we also have steel pipes. Okay, one of the cheapest form of service pipes, can sustain high pressure from inside and outside of the pipe. Can be laid in corrosive soil when it is seated with bitumen. So for extra layer of protection, we also put bitumen. Issue is heavy to handle and hard to bend. Of course, you cannot bend it. So if the direction of the pipe needs to change, we need to put like sockets lah, either an elbow or T junction, things like that. And then the asbestos cement pipes made out of Portland cement and asbestos fiber mix. Okay, so this is cheap, resistant to internal and external corrosion, but they are brittle. So it needs to be handled properly. And also it cannot like receive a lot of external load. It will crack the asbestos cement pipes. Okay. However, we have like RC pipe, okay, reinforced concrete pipe. This is commonly used as the main pipe. So as you can see, the diameter from 400 mm to uh, 1.8 meter lah, which is very large diameter lah. So it's corrosive resistant, okay, doesn't corrode. Um, However, it also needs protection if the soil is very acidic, okay, because it can eat through the concrete surface. Okay, UPVC pipes, you can see at the top. This one is white in color. I mean, if it's like white UPVC pipes, usually is being used for conduits, electrical conduits. The ones that being used for water pipes, they are gray in color, right? So they are resistant to corrosion, light, and will not affect the taste, odor, and smell of drinking water. So it's very easy to handle. You do not need like cranes and such to put the pipes into position. Not commonly being used, meaning that it's not being used for main pipes and distribution pipes. These are just for like low pressure pipes, usually located inside a building. And it is quite brittle. It is strong, but it can also break. Then we have the HDPE pipes. Okay, the image below is correct. Black in color, and it has like some degree of flexibility, even better than UPVC pipes. So cost effective above ground, surface, buried, floating, subsurface marine application. So you can just put this anywhere. Okay, it is not a problem because these HDPE pipes are also very light. Okay, so lightweight, strong, extremely tough, and very durable. Okay, does not have an issue like for problematic soil if you need to bury it, like acidic soil and those kind of things. No problem for the pipe. So it has a few fittings because of the pipe's flexibility. You can change the direction of the pipe just by bending the pipes. Of course, you can't bend it like in very short distances, like a garden hose. It needs like quite a long part of it to be bent, but you can bend it. So we reduce the need of using fittings such as elbow and things like that. We reduce the risk of what you call leakage. Okay, so these are how the pipes are being jointed. The pipe joints basically depends on the material of the pipe. Okay, so we have like spigot and socket joint. These are usually being used by clay pipes. Clay pipes, even the iron pipes pun but iron pipe we can also use like the welded joint, okay, for iron pipes, for stainless steel. Butt fusion joint is for HDPE pipes, UPVC pipes. This is where the end of the pipes are being melted and being joined together. But they have a special machine to do this kind of things. You cannot just like use naked flame lah. Dia ada alat dia. And then flange joint. These are for metal types of pipes, which are being used indoors. And then we have couplings. These are quite popular, okay, for metal types of pipes. And then compression joint. These are for HDPE pipes. They are like screw type of joints. Okay, so how to construct? Okay, construct the pipes. All right. So these are for like pipes buried underground. So of course we have to excavate a trench uh, to its like platform level, and then we put in sand blinding. Okay, to ensure that the bottom surface of the trench is smooth, and then depends on the design, right? So in this design, after blinding, we have laying of pipes. Okay, the pipe is put into position, and then we have covering of filling material. So the material which is in contact with the pipes are usually we use sand. So after it's being filled up, and then after that we put in, depends, gravel or soil. Okay, to top it up, and then lastly, uh, we can also use like topsoil. So for like water pipes, especially gas pipes, which are buried underground and has a lot of traffic that's going through it. Um, they have like a notice on top of the ground saying that underneath this what you call signage, there is a pipe, especially for gas pipes. Okay, so you shouldn't be doing any type of construction near a water pipe main, and especially for gas pipes. So for pipe fittings, we have hydrants, valve, band, and pipe housing. So these are installed depends on whether you need to change the direction of the pipe, you need to change the elevation, or you need to cross certain obstruction. So then we need this type of fittings. And of course, the process of testing the pipes to make sure that the pipes are not leaking, basically, right? So after the testing process is completed, that run of the pipes is completed, right? Okay, so that is it for pipes and fittings.